Everyone in crypto is begging Washington for one thing: legal clarity. The votes, the drama, all of it. But here's what almost nobody realizes. XRP already has something that law can't even give it. It fought a 5-year war to get it, and it walked out of a federal courtroom with a piece of paper Bitcoin doesn't have. Ethereum doesn't have it. Now here's what makes me shake my head. XRP has the one thing every project is fighting for: a court ruling that says it's not a security. It has ETFs. It has live institutional settlement on its ledger. Billions in real assets. It has all of that, and the price is still sitting at $1. Read that again. Maximum clarity, minimum price. Some of the boldest voices in this space look at that gap and throw out numbers that sound insane. And no, I'm not here to promise you any of them, but it forces a real question. When has a gap this wide ever stayed open forever? That's why people keep repeating 5 words. XRP is already inside it. And most holders still don't grasp how rare that is. So I'm going to show you exactly what that ruling says. The one catch nobody talks about. And why this gap between what XRP has and what XRP costs might be the most underrated setup in all of crypto right now. Stop scrolling. Let's go. Real quick, straight from the heart. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here is a promise. Any price number you hear today is someone's opinion or scenario, never a guarantee. I make these videos because I believe in this space, and I believe in you. So, do your own research, protect your family first, and let's stay patient together. Cool? Let's get into it. Let me give you the real story, because this is the foundation everything else stands on. Back in December 2020, the SEC sued Ripple. Their argument was blunt. XRP is a security, and Ripple sold it illegally. That lawsuit hung over XRP like a storm cloud for years. It's a huge part of why XRP got left behind while other coins ran. That uncertainty scared off exchanges, institutions, everybody. It was a 5-year war, and here's how it ended. In July 2023, Judge Analisa Torres issued a ruling that changed everything. The court did not find that XRP is inherently a security. Read that carefully because it's the whole ballgame. The judge separated the token from the way it was sold, and she ruled that XRP sold programmatically, on exchanges, to regular people like you and me on the secondary market, does not constitute a securities transaction. Then, in August 2025, after years of back and forth, both Ripple and the SEC dropped their appeals. The case is officially, finally over. That ruling now stands as settled law. So let me be crystal clear about what that means, and I'm going to say it the honest way. When you buy XRP on an exchange, a federal court has ruled that is not a securities transaction. That's not a tweet. That's not a regulator's opinion that flips when a new administration walks in. That's a court judgment that survived appeal and became final. And here's the comparison that should stop you cold. Bitcoin has never had a ruling like this, because it was never really challenged in court this way. Ethereum hasn't either. They operate on the assumption that regulators will leave them alone. XRP has something stronger than an assumption. It has a verdict. But I told you there's a catch. One detail almost every hype channel skips. And if you don't understand it, someone will use it to confuse you later. So let me give you the honest, complete picture, because the truth is actually more powerful than the hype. That's next. Okay, here's the part the XRP won everything crowd conveniently leaves out. And I'm giving it to you because a half-truth is how you get caught off guard. The same ruling that cleared exchange sales also found something else. When Ripple sold XRP directly to big institutional buyers, underwritten contracts, in private deals, the court said those specific sales did count as unregistered securities transactions. Ripple got hit with a penalty, and a court order now blocks it from doing those direct institutional sales in the US without registering. So no, it wasn't a total, flawless, 100% victory. There was a real limit to it. But here's why that catch doesn't hurt you, and actually makes the story cleaner. Think about who each part applies to. The part that got restricted? That's about Ripple the company, selling XRP directly to institutions in private contracts. The part that got cleared? That's about XRP trading on the open market, which is exactly how you, me, and every retail holder on Earth actually get our XRP. So the piece that matters most to regular holders and to exchanges is the piece that won. The token itself isn't a security. Secondary trading isn't a securities transaction. That's the part that touches your wallet. So when someone tries to muddy the water with, well, actually, Ripple lost part of the case, now you know exactly what they mean, and exactly why it doesn't change the thing that matters for you. That's the difference between understanding this and just repeating a headline. And honestly, a channel that gives you the catch is a channel you can trust on everything else. That's the whole point here. Let me pause because I need to know something. Did you know XRP actually has a final federal court ruling in its favor, while Bitcoin and Ethereum don't? Type yes or no in the comments. I read them personally, and I want to see how many of you knew how rare XRP's position really is. Yes or no. Go, then come right back. All right, so XRP has this clarity that no other major coin has, which leads to the question that actually matters. If it already won, why is the price still asleep at $1? That gap is the real story. Let me break it down. So here's the puzzle that should be keeping XRP holders up at night, in a good way. Line it all up. XRP has a final court ruling that secondary sales aren't securities. It has spot ETFs live and pulling in money. It has real institutional settlement. Remember, JP Morgan, MasterCard, Ondo, and Ripple ran a live tokenized treasury settlement on the XRP ledger. It has over $4 billion in real-world assets tokenized on that ledger. By almost every measure that a serious investor cares about, legal standing, institutional access, real usage, XRP is further along than most of the market, and the price is sitting around $1. Now, why is that? Let me give you the honest answer, not the cope. A few reasons. First, XRP is still tied to the overall market. When Bitcoin drags, everything drags, and we've been in a heavy, fearful stretch. Second, XRP has always been a lagging asset. Historically, it sits dead still, frustrating everyone, and then moves in violent bursts when it finally goes. And third, and this is the big one, the market is slow to reprice things. Clarity happened, ETFs happened, institutional settlement happened, but price doesn't always update the instant the fundamentals change. There's a lag between the facts got better and the price noticed. And that lag is the entire opportunity. Because here's the thing about gaps between value and price. Historically, they don't stay open forever. Something eventually closes them. Now, this is where some of the boldest voices in this space throw out huge numbers. 3 digits, even 4. And I want to be dead honest with you. Those are their opinions and scenarios, not promises, and definitely not mine to guarantee. Some of those numbers imply market caps that are hard to even imagine. So don't anchor on a figure. Anchor on the logic. A coin with this much going for it, priced this low, is the definition of a market that hasn't caught up yet. In my opinion, not a promise. That's a gap worth understanding. But here's what nobody's telling you about the timing. Because there's a second layer of clarity coming. A backup plan most people don't even know exists, that could matter even if the big bill in Washington stalls out. Let me show you the safety net. So let's zoom out, because XRP's court ruling isn't happening in a vacuum. The whole regulatory picture is shifting in its favor at the same time. You've heard about the Clarity Act, the big market structure bill fighting its way through the Senate. And yeah, it matters. But here's what almost nobody's covering. Even if that bill stalls before the August recess, regulators have a backup. The SEC and CFTC have been quietly building their own framework, an effort to define crypto assets and set clearer rules for things like custody, staking, and trading without waiting on Congress. In other words, clarity is coming through more than one door. As one policy figure put it, it's a question of when, not if. So connect that to XRP's position. Most coins are betting everything on that one bill passing. XRP doesn't have to. It already has its court ruling locked in. That's done, regardless of what the Senate does this month. So while every other project is white-knuckling the Clarity Act vote, XRP is sitting on clarity it already secured, watching a second wave of clarity build behind it. That's not being at the mercy of Washington. That's being ahead of it. And here's the bigger picture that ties it all together. The entire financial system is moving on-chain. Banks tokenizing, institutions settling on blockchain, ETFs opening the doors for big money. In that world, the assets that win are the ones that are both useful and legally clear. Useful, XRP is covered. Fast, cheap settlement, already proven with institutions. Legally clear, XRP is covered. The court ruling. It's one of the very few assets that can check both boxes right now. And in a maturing market where the rules finally start to matter, being both useful and clear isn't a small edge. It might be the whole game. So before the last section, here's my challenge. Everyone's chasing the next headline, the next vote, the next fake tweet. But the people who understand what XRP already has, that court ruling, that head start, they're looking at this completely differently. 60 more seconds. This is the part that's actually about you. Let me bring this whole thing home. Here's where we actually stand. XRP fought a 5-year legal war and came out with a final federal court ruling that its secondary sales are not securities, something Bitcoin and Ethereum simply don't have. Yes, there's a catch on Ripple's direct institutional sales, and I told you about it honestly, because the part that matters to you as a holder is the part that won. XRP has ETFs, live institutional settlement, and billions in tokenized assets on its ledger. And the price is still sitting at $1. That's the gap. That's the whole story. Now, I know how it feels to hold XRP right now. You look at everything it has going for it, then you look at the price, and it's maddening. I get it. So let me reframe it the honest way. That frustration you feel? It's the sound of a gap that hasn't closed yet. Value on one side, price on the other, and a market that's been too scared and too distracted to connect them. But markets don't stay blind forever. Fundamentals this strong, price this low, is not a permanent state. It's a temporary one. It always has been. We're early. And this is a different kind of early. Not hoping it works out early, but the hard part is already done and the price hasn't caught up early. XRP already survived the lawsuit that could have killed it. It already has the clarity everyone else is still fighting for. It's already on institutional rails. The foundation isn't being hoped for. It's poured. It's set. What's left is for the price to remember what the fundamentals already know. The pain doesn't last forever. It never does. And the foundation under XRP is more solid than almost anything else in this space. A court ruling, real usage, real institutions, whether the chart reflects it today or 6 months from now. So, here's what I need from you. If this showed you something about XRP you didn't fully understand before, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because I dig into the stuff that actually matters, not the fake headlines. Drop your yes or no in the comments if you haven't. And tell me straight, knowing what XRP already has, are you more confident now than you were 14 minutes ago? I read every single comment. Stay early, stay sharp, stay unshakable. Protect your family, do your own research, and never let anyone, including me, rush your decisions or promise you a price. This has been Crypto with BHW. We're early. The foundation is being poured, and I'll see you in the very next one.